second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion or you need a minute, Brian?
Just getting out to the Riverwalk Park now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Approved?
I will say he does a nice, concise job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And he keeps out the stuff that
Yeah.
is kind of like, just a little
yeah.
undertone discussion, which is nice.
Yeah.
All our non sequiturs.
Yeah, there are a few of those. Anything new on Prospect Farm?
There's a lot of debris in the trails right now from the wind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Just full on winter?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been up there since it snowed elsewhere. Are they green elsewhere?
Early in the winter, it got a lot of use
Yeah.
until the rest of the trail system.
Yeah.
And you still get a lot of the locals with their dogs that go up there right after work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a gem. No, I'll have to back down it.
I just repeat what we said last meeting, but, we'll touch bases with the town and the Forest Service as we get closer to spring, but I sort of figure you might as well approach the selectmen after town meeting and all that sort of stuff when they can refocus.
Okay. Do you need any other support on that?
I don't think so, it's just simply to ask them if they can work on the stump dump, and once they've gotten that okay, then I just talk with the Forest Service and ask them to move the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'll start working on, once we've got that okay, there's no sense in making any changes to the sign until that's been official, so that whatever revisions we make to the map and the sign up there are all up to date, as opposed to doing it and changing it.
Is the gate owned by the Forest Service or?
The gate is the Forest Service's
Okay.
gate, yes.
Okay.
And instead of putting the gate, just like when you go out logging, out Quail, you hit the gate where the Forest Service is. During the winter, it's open.
Yep.
And that's their gate, and if I can reconstruct the history correctly, the town asked them to put the gate before the stump dump so that they can control who was using the stump dump.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if we're gonna use the stump dump as the expanded parking lot, then we're gonna have to move the gate out past it, otherwise it'd have to be open all the time, which the Forest Service doesn't want.
And the other gate the town owns? I mean,
I believe, the one I think you're talking about is right at the base where the
Well,
sign is.
Valley Trail.
I believe that's the town's,
okay.
because that's on town land.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's three gates up there. There's the Boggy Brook Gate, there's the one that you just mentioned, which is right at the base where the
Sorry.
kiosk is. And then when you go up Quail,
Right.
when you leave the town land and get back on the Forest Service land, there's actually a gate there.
Right.
You never notice it in the winter because it's open.
I think it's open all the time.
And there is no gate on Marsh Brook,
Right.
which is Valentine land going onto Forest Service land.
Right. He's made it, well, no, that's not true. He made it impassable for a bit, but he definitely dropped something. Somebody dropped a tree on there when we were complaining about the trucks getting up there.
Near the
Base.
landing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll worry about that after town meeting.
Yeah,
Great.
I don't think we need to worry about it, they're just
Yeah.
to do.
To do after town meeting.
Yeah.
Jackson Fall, or does anyone else have anything before I move on? No?
No, I've just started to outline, doing the Jackson Fall things, similar to what we did with Prospect, we've been cutting a draft, and I'll try to get that done before the end of the winter.
Do you need any help, like reviewing town minutes, or where's your process?
Well, you set us up so that I can access the, what's available, and I need to go through that. And then I'll wanna go back into the town here and just take a look and read the file that exists there, and the conditions to make sure I understand it. And now you can actually access the Carroll County deeds, which makes life a lot easier as well.
How do you do that?
Go on to Carroll County, go to the deeds. When you download them, you can read them, but you can't print them out. Well, let me take it back. You can print them out, but you have to pay to be able to print them out. Or you can print them out, but they come out, you almost need an electron microscope to read.
Right, they're condensed in a.
But if you need anything printed out, I have an account.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Great.
So just let me know.
Benefits.
Yeah. I mean, you still pay, it's $2 a page, but you don't have to pay,
Is it $2 a page or a document?
no, per page.
Oh, it is per page, okay.
Yeah, you get a 20-page document, it's $40.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you go into the office, will they download and print them out, or there must be a charge
We've
for
done
that?
at the registry?
Yeah,
No, it's the same price. And I'll help you.
Yeah.
Do whatever, they're very helpful.
but it's nice to have it online.
It is. It's nice to be able to push the button, print.
The-
The plans are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're ever using it to look up stuff, the challenge is when you're online, you have to know the name.
You have to know a name.
A name, yeah, and that, sometimes, it
Right,
might
it's
be in a
not-
trust name.
Right, it's
instead.
not the name, it's
You think it's
Not
such and
a
such,
name.
but it's under somebody's trust.
So the way you kind of work around it is you go to the tax kiosk.
Yeah,
New
yeah,
Hampshire tax kiosk, and you can go on to Jackson and you find out, you can go by property, map and lot number or name.
right.
And you can find it that way, and then once you
Through
find
the
it
tax
that-
bill.
Yes, you kind
Yeah.
of have to work a few different things to get.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've just done like, I'm just gonna search the index for a little bit.
Yeah, I
So
went
I
through,
can find-
looking up some stuff at Jackson
Yeah.
Ski Touring Foundation,
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah,
tried that didn't work, let me try something else.
yeah, exactly.
It's good to know.
I talked to the selectmen about the plowing, the parking lot,
Yeah,
and I missed this last storm cycle, so I don't know,
Well, they plowed it,
so.
like, it's,
That's what I
they're
thought.
pretty
Yeah.
quick this
last time I went by, it was plowed.
It seemed like our words
Great.
were heard. Yeah. I mean, they might have just fallen behind, yeah, it's been cleared out.
There's usually, a lot of times, there's 1 or 2 cars that are there.
Yeah.
It's so much safer now that they plow.
Yeah, it's better, for sure.
Okay, great.
And I was just thinking, it might be fun, you were talking about seeds, that to do a test plot down at the falls for ferns, because not a big spot, like 6 by 5 or something like that. You get the soil from Lucy or Paris, and then just mail order the ferns, and maybe the type of ferns that are already there,
Yeah,
which are the cinnamon or the interrupted, or, that sort of
Sensitive.
thing. Yeah, so, and you just get the little green fence that goes around it and see if that, because there's areas that would benefit, but the sod would not take very well because there's just no sun.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you need the ferns.
Mm. You need the moisture too.
Yeah, and so if it's under the trees,
Mhm.
then you give it, give it peat moss, soil,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. But you wouldn't even need to get loam or anything like that. I think you could just do a small enough area with just bag soil.
Yeah, so they can be mossy.
Yeah. I think that'd be kind of fun to try.
Mhm.
Just to see which ferns work best, or just if that's
Or
gonna,
just try like these small areas and just do, because my thought is, and not everybody agrees, I don't think, but my thought would be to try to minimize some of the wood chips So we can kind of make it more trail as opposed to open, areas. Just thinking. So,
Yeah, well, where the sod won't take, the fern will kind of create like a little bit of an understory and
that's what I'm thinking.
keep it cool and moist.
Yeah, and I think people kind of enjoy the trails. More of a trail, I don't know. I think it might be more in keeping with that area.
Mm.
I don't know.
You mean not to wood chip the trails?
Well, no, I'm just talking about this one little area, just a little 5 foot by 6 foot.
Yeah.
And the purpose of it would be to, basically take back some of the part that has the wood chips on it. It's borders of the trail, but it's a wide open area.
Mm.
And the idea would be to try and,
Contour the
Make it more
shape,
natural.
narrow it down.
make it more natural,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. It'd be kind of fun to try.
Yeah.
Would those be whole plants or,
They'd be just the roots. So you buy them like the bare roots,
okay,
and you get them early in the spring. That's why I kind of, was bringing it up because if we're gonna do it, we'd have to decide soon,
Mhm.
just so we can order the ferns.
I have a book on it, I know I do.
A book on,
Ferns, planting ferns.
oh, that'd be cool.
See,
I find it.
well, we don't want people to go, we should put poison ivy.
Yeah, exactly.
There are ways to solve this.
Exactly.
Some stinging
It's called
nettles,
vegetative control.
Yeah,
burdock.
yeah.
okay. And we're just, like, after town meeting for sign, or whatever, that's,
Yeah, I'll talk with John Higgins, now that they're deep into the ski season, see if John's still got that extra sheet, see if he can make those up so we have them for the spring, and then we'll have to talk about post.
yeah.
Mm.
But let me make sure I can get the signs from John. But we definitely wanna put those on a post. And I took a look, I mean, you've probably done the same thing when you drive by in the winter, is I think if we put the post right back like where the railings are, I'm just trying to figure out
Mm.
where the snow plowing is going so that they can,
Mhm.
we're not putting them up to watch a game of dominoes where they all go down in the first snowstorm.
Mm.
Yeah, it needs to look.
But they're too heavy for the metal post.
Mhm.
I think they'd have to have real posts.
Hmm?
I think they'd have to have real posts.
Yeah, and I think it would look better on a real post as well.
Like, anything more substantial than a 4x4?
Well, I mean, if you go out and you see what the ski touring foundation is, I don't know, those must be 2x2s, I think.
Yeah.
They don't have,
I took a look at,
I'm trying to remember what they, I
no,
mean,
they use 4x4s.
They may be
for their-
4x4s,
They use 4x4s
yeah,
for
yeah.
their posts.
yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
who would put those in?
Was that,
Who would put those
I
in?
think we'd have Eastern Greens to do it.
if he's got the equipment to put the whole,
Oh, he
yeah,
certainly
yeah.
does, yeah. I mean, just want it done right.
Otherwise, they'll be like some of those within a year, they'll be,
Will that damage any of the roots of those trees?
I mean, I think so. Minimally, we didn't damage anything, we did the fences.
That's
You know,
true.
those are even bigger.
some of those posts, I think you could almost just tie right in.
Yes, could go off of
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
I mean, he just has a good eye for doing
Mhm.
things tastefully.
Right.
You know, he's not gonna cut
And I know he
corners.
doesn't like his things to die.
Hmm?
I know he doesn't want his stuff to die.
No, absolutely, yeah. No, they've been good to us.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll approach John Higgins, who's the one of our board members, and John was a real good friend. His wife just died, so I know he's tied up with a few more with a friend and that sort of stuff right now. John's a guy he volunteers a incredible amount of time, like mowing and wave all summer,
Mm.
so that people can walk there.
Yeah, I don't know if I put a face with the name, I don't.
He moves a lot of wood chips.
Yeah, I see that.
I see the piles over there.
Yeah. He's really good at what he does. He owned two machine shops before, and everything he does is just
Mm.
that precision of somebody
Yeah.
that ran a machine shop.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay. So, anything else for Jackson Falls? Just wait and see.
So Brian, if you can get some information on the firms, that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
we'll
do some pricing and just see if people want to do it.
I mean, I would like,
Look in the Fedco. Look in the Fedco catalog too. Not only just so much to buy them, but they oftentimes give excellent information. If it's something that they would sell,
Right.
they give a lot of good information about just tips.
They have books that include portions on it, so I'll have to go back
Yeah.
and review that. But that's where I think where I got the information, that's how you plant ferns, and I think I have done it in the past, is you get the roots. And it's like this
Yeah,
type of thing,
it's quite a,
yeah. And
Like asparagus.
yeah.
But it's different,
yeah.
it's like just a big tank.
Yeah, they're like.
Like a mat,
it's hard
and you
to
just
put a
plunk
word
them
on.
in there and.
Yeah.
they come up.
What's the fern that's such a nuisance? A sweet fern?
The tall, the biggest
Yeah,
one?
they grow everywhere.
Well, sweet,
Yeah.
no, sweet fern grows in like the poor soil, like the worst stuff. It's on the side of the road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
In the ditches.
and you can't kill that if you try.
yeah. Sensitive fern,
Bracken,
cinnamon,
interrupted.
interrupted, bracket.
What's the big one? King ostrich, whatever, which one is it? Lady
Oh.
fern. But
I
they only
don't
have a
know.
couple of ferns down there. They have bracken, some Christmas, some interrupted, that sort of thing.
Fern lady.
Well, I looked, in
Well,
the
you
last
remember
summer,
too, that's-
just to see what they are.
I looked too, but remembering could be.
But I looked for the purpose.
Yes, yeah.
What am
There
I
you go.
playing?
I think Mike just got it.
Did they win?
Yeah.
What's that?
Did they win?
Chair.
Let it be read into the minutes. No,
They-
we didn't.
They tried valiantly.
Yeah, it's the team is mostly most of the girls. None of the girls have ever played basketball like in a game before, and I would say 3/4 have probably never actually like physically touched a basketball. So it was.
Well, how old are they?
It is the rec league, so it's like most of the teams are playing are like 6th graders, 5th and 6th graders, and our team is like 4th and 5th and a few 6th. So.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, no worries. Good.
We're just wrapping up Jackson Falls, talking about a fern test plot.
Playing some ferns possibly.
Oh, awesome.
Um, that was about it. Do you have anything to add? Or-
Not for Jackson Falls.
What about Prospect, anything?
I did have something for Prospect. Am I allowed to go back?
All allowed.
You gotta start back over.
I apologize. So for Prospect, I talked to the school and they are interested in doing another apple orchard cutting trip up there and would love assistance from the Conservation Commission. And the only really day they had was March 9th. And so I didn't know if that was a day that anyone could be available because I know very little about trimming apple trees.
What's the day?
That's a Thursday.
Yeah, I'll just pass down the Thursday.
Okay. And it would be like pretty similar to last year. We'd maybe half the kids would be skiing, half would be snowshoeing. We'd go up there, have a snack. Trim, maybe mostly like haul branches off this year, since I think that was.
That's what I was gonna say, when I went up and saw last year, all these kids are standing around, all this stuff's here, and then later on, somebody's gonna go out and clear it.
Yeah, so I think this year we'll do a better job of hauling the branches out.
Especially with snowshoes, that would be
Yeah.
entertaining.
And then wrapping up by like, 1 or 2 o'clock. Probably even before then. Because the bus usually has to be back by like 2 or 2:30. So if that I don't know if that works for people, but if it does, I don't know if that works for you, Brian.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Awesome. Then I will confirm with the school tonight, and I'll get it on camera.
You give me till tomorrow.
Do you have a bad weather day?
I can check. They've got it's a tight time of year because they've also got skiathon and the ESSC snow day, and those all happen within the first like 2 weeks of March. But I can ask. When I asked for a day, I talked to Susan and she was like, "This is your day. This is the day that doesn't have anything." But it's a good idea to have a backup day. I know ESSC snow day is the 14th. So it wouldn't be that next Tuesday, but possibly the following Thursday, dependent on conditions. And I know we don't want to get too far into March, just for the sake of the trees.
Right.
What percentage of the trees got done last time? Maybe 10%?
I would say only none of them for the entire, like, full phase, but let's say
Yeah.
we probably worked on about 10 or 12, and say maybe 5 or 6 of them got really,
Yeah.
got a good thorough.
A lot of them got clipped, but not I don't think any of them
Not
got
in
like
the, in the,
How
a
many-
meaningful
that
sense.
will be
Yeah.
going in.
How many trees are there?
Oof. It's gotta be 40.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's a
say.
good size
I
wood
was
tree.
gonna say like yeah, like 40 or 50.
Yeah, and then it branches down to there's another portion.
Mhm.
I was thinking this year, we should have done it last year, but this year we should be taking pictures because it'd be interesting to see like, to document like, if like how much fruit is getting out of it and that sort of thing. I thought it might be interesting to look at that. Get up there in the spring and take pictures and that way we can show like, oh, look at this, like, makes a difference.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah,
And you-
one of the trees that we pruned was, maybe it was very edible the year before, but it actually had a really good crop of edible
Cool.
apples. That were actually quite delicious.
Can you get Dudley up there too?
Yeah, I'm sending him a message
Yeah.
to see.
In the fall, just get the school to put a game camera up there.
Oh, that'd be
When
cool.
the apples come out, yeah.
Oh,
That'd be super cool.
Costs like $100.
an apple can.
Apple cam?
Jackson Fat Bear.
Yeah. Get the town to do it, it could be a tourist thing.
Yeah.
Chamber to do it.
I mean, it's incredible. I have one by their house. It's incredible. I mean, I pick up fisher, bobcat, all kinds of stuff, yeah.
Did you
Saw
put it
Fisher
on
this
your house?
morning.
Did you? Yeah.
Did you put it on your house pointing out?
Oh, no, it's down behind our house, down along the river,
Okay.
Or
Well,
right
along the
road.
river, yeah.
Great Brook.
Mm.
A lot of deer, a lot of coyotes.
Mhm. That's cool.
But if the school put one up there in the beginning, the fall, I mean, when the apples are coming in,
Yeah.
time, you probably pick up turkeys and eat them.
I can look and see if we have any extra ones sitting around work.
Yeah.
It's possible. It'd certainly be fun. Yeah, it'd certainly be fun.
How long's the battery last on that sort of thing?
I don't know, it might have been down there for almost a year.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. The ones that I used when I was at the EMC were super old. I don't think I would ever change the batteries. I think we used them for like years.
So are they lithium or?
The ones I'm using are, but
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I think it depends too, like, because you can set, there's like different settings.
Yeah.
So like it depends like,
if you set the long video, it's gonna chew them up.
So motion activated.
yeah, motion activated or like sometimes, so you can set just like, oh, every hour or once a day or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can.
Mhm.
That was it. That was the big thing that I had for prospectors. Just wanted to get that data out there.
Great. All right. Any grazing? Nope.
No, I think about that tree.
Okay. I imagine there's wind damage
There's more
everywhere,
now.
so.
I'll give another chance.
Yeah.
Mm.
Any community garden?
We're full up,
Oh, good.
so,
Good.
got a lot of interesting comments on the soil. Might just do another soil test in the spring and make sure I go down deep enough, I guess.
You know, the Whitney Center's got, Ann Bennett's gonna give a talk, I think, with somebody else on gardening.
That's who my consultant is, Ann.
Yeah, you may want to let your community
Well, that's
folks
a
know.
really good idea.
Yeah.
Do you know when that is?
It was up on Jackson E! News.
Okay, I'll check that out.
I want to say March, but I don't.
Okay.
I just remember seeing it.
That's at the Whitney. Okay. That'd be cool.
Do you have a deadline of when you're expecting people to pay for their plot, or?
Oh, they've already all paid,
Okay,
yeah.
everyone's,
So- Yeah, well, because I basically told anybody wanting to renew February 1st. And everybody did it before then, and then I just picked up a couple new members by word of mouth. So, 'cause the
Great.
library decided not to have a plot. You know, so I run into people on like a conservation trail, or, you know, somebody heard from another member.
excellent.
Yeah.
Um,
So it just goes to show, if you build it, they will come.
Where, I should know this, where is everything kept? Like, for the winter? Is there,
There's, somebody donated their, pickup truck, like a tool, shed, not a shed, but it's like a toolbox type of thing. So you
oh, like the toolbox that fits in the bedroom?
Yeah, so you can fit all the, tools in there, and
Okay.
hoses and all that, and, that's pretty much it. The
Okay.
fence is falling down, so I figure, I think I need some 4x4s in the corners. And the irrigation needs it's gonna need a little assistance next spring. I think there's a leak.
okay. I don't have anything for Wildcat River. Hmm?
Just for your information, Ski Touring Foundation is gonna do a little bit of snowmaking, on the Wentworth Golf Course. They did put in to DES to get a water withdrawal permit. So that water quality certification was noticed during the 30-day public notice. There was no comments that came in from the public. And essentially, those water withdrawals will meet all of DES's standards, just for people's information if they ask. And it's based in part on what the flow of the Ellis is coming down. But since there's no gauge on the Ellis, we're using the gauge on the Saco in Bartlett as the surrogate. We went back and did some statistics on that, and DES accepted that as a method. So if the level in the Saco gets down below a certain point, then they gotta stop taking water, make snow. But the snowmaking primarily is focused because it can take anywhere from the Ski Touring Foundation covered bridge down to and including the junction of the Wildcat and the Ellis. So it's actually all Ellis withdrawal, and they're using just essentially the same kind of intake as used by firemen when they go to the pond or something where they float. And the Fish and Game Department, Fish and Game had okayed that as an acceptable method of withdrawing without sucking up aquatic insects, that sort of stuff. That certificate was just issued, so if somebody asked, it's been through that process. The original snowmaking that was tested earlier was done on what's known as the intermittent ability to take water, which was limited as to how much you could take. But now that permit has been issued.
Gotcha. Yeah, 'cause I
But
think
they won't make snow again this year unless we get a total washout.
Yeah, because they had been wanting to begin, I mean, they're following up with beginning of the year.
It's basically only as needed.
What's that?
Only as needed.
Yeah, otherwise you're just sending dollar bills in the air. It's not cheap to make snow.
Are they going to do that, have to apply for that every year?
No. I mean, essentially, anybody that has a water withdrawal permit, of which the golf course actually has one there for the summer.
That's good. That's what I asked.
So is it a pipe that goes in, like I see over at the falls?
It's a
where
fire
that-
hose that, yeah, basically, it's just a fire hose that goes to a low pressure pump. And then the low pressure pump moves it through to a high pressure pump. And the high pressure pump moves it into the fan guns.
So it's a.
And then there's a generator over there because that's That's a big generator, you don't wanna touch that thing when it's going. And I don't know whether anything came into the Conservation Commission on that.
I didn't get any paperwork, but I got the revision that they had, the minor revisions,
Yeah,
that I was gonna bring up, but it doesn't look like there's anything
This is Francis Ave.
substantial
Doesn't
beyond what you just.
give
yeah.
A map to like put you in the general location.
So they did put you on the list.
So it's just saying,
Yeah.
like, it's a road that you know, so you're like, where am I on here?
Yeah,
There's like-
so
Yeah, I know.
I guess
Or
just
email that you're like, oh, okay, you know, that.
getting
like,
into
that
the
worked on these.
process of like when we receive
These same properties
things,
are always GP hands and things happen.
of being in the loop of, like, there was a, like, well, I guess just things that come in, just like, I didn't get one of those from Jackson Ski Touring, like, notification.
The notification would come from DES is where it should come from.
Right, but just for the application for Jackson Ski Touring, so just like, when do we see things? 'Cause a lot of this stuff is stuff that's already been approved.
That's what I'm saying, are we even in that? loop?
No, DES put it out, so DES did not send out the draft to you, or did they just send you the final?
I just have the final.
Okay, because they post it for 30 days of public notice.
Right.
And that's a DES posting, that's not a Ski Touring Foundation posting. So-
Right.
So I'm surprised that DES didn't notify. I mean, they posted on the website, but that doesn't mean the Conservation Commission is gonna constantly monitor their website.
Right.
That's a question of DES, I think.
Okay. I just, sort of are we backward looking or forward looking when we're involved in these, you know, that we need to review these?
We
these
should be,
other-
have the right to review them when they're in the draft stage out for public comment.
Yeah, I thought,
But we have to know they're up for public comment. And then
Yeah,
we're just public at that rate, right?
Yeah, and, I mean, it's no different than, you will see something come before the planning board. You know, will be on the planning board agenda that such and such a person is up. That doesn't mean they're gonna go out and tell everybody that it's out there.
do we just mean just wetland permits in general?
This would be a water withdrawal permit, but wetland permits would be the same thing.
Because I remember with those, it was just, we couldn't, I thought the deal was that we can't actually do anything, but we're notified and we go look at it and send like a red flag to DES if we see anything.
And you have a,
Right, isn't that the idea?
Yeah, we can.
Like, we can't do, like, we don't have.
and you're commenting on during the public comment period, not during the final. Because the final is the issuance.
Right,
I think two separate tracks of conversation.
oh, okay, sorry.
Well, it's helpful to clarify, like, will we receive a plan or
For a
like
wetlands permit.
for a wetlands impact plan, this is a new one that just came through. Because I don't even think I've gotten an email notification that this had come through. So this is brand new. But then I do get emails when we get the forestry statutory permit by notifications, which we don't have any say in, it's just a heads up that this is happening, but if we were to observe something, that would be required to report if any of those criteria are met. I'm just trying to figure out how do we best do our job, or,
So let's take each one individually, but the timber, we just get notification that it's been filed and we can comment on it, or we,
Just aware when trees start falling.
well, my understanding of the permit by notification is that whoever is filing it is saying it's under a certain size, that they will do everything they need to do to perform the operation and comply with all of the requirements, but there's no one going from DES to inspect it. And that they have to notify them when they're done. So that would, I guess, jumping ahead a little bit, because that was one of the other letters that we just received from DES, is that they had people who had filed something and then never filed a notice that the work had been completed.
Yeah, they had some sort of a wetlands mitigation plan or something like that,
Right.
because they'd done something. and
Oh, that's the one where
collecting-
they had indicated that they'd ever done the mitigation.
Right.
Correct, yeah.
So it's kind of like they self-reported, I think, something like that,
Well, I think that there was just
initially.
that they needed to file, and they just hit the timeline of either needing to renew or,
Showing that they'd done it.
right.
Mm.
So in that case, we're just made aware of that. And I haven't, yes, if I've,
Were the selectmen notified of this as well?
yes. Yeah, and I can't remember which ones of these, that the planning board was also
Yeah.
selected in for, so. Anyways. But there were just those few things to review on.
Well, I'm thinking out loud relative to your question, it might be worthwhile having a conversation with the selectmen to ask when we get notified the same as they do on a non-compliance letter, because that's a non-compliance letter. Now, it's non-compliant for one of several possibilities. One is they did it but didn't file, so they're non-compliant until they file. The other is they haven't even done what they said they were gonna do, which is a more serious issue. But the follow-up would have to be done by the selectmen, not by us.
Correct. And I also just got this out of our box as the new Conservation Commission handbook.
Yeah.
So I can review and see if they have any guidance in that situation, so.
But I think if this was something that was egregious, I think we would send a letter to the selectmen telling them that we're concerned that it wasn't done. Of course, we don't know whether it's egregious or whether it just wasn't filed.
I know, yeah. I can make a phone call. I know the person who'd be doing the restoration work, or that should have done it, got done, I know the contractor who's doing this work. If that's what we're talking about, trying to see if this actually was done.
Okay.
And if they just didn't file, or if they are just being negligent.
What was the project? I'm gonna-
It's that project up Route 16, just before, right after Ridge Road. On your left-hand side, there's that, there's the old house there on the left,
Yeah,
Oh, is that
and
like
the red barns across the street from it.
by the De La Vallas, like that, like they put
Yeah.
a couple houses back in there? Yeah.
That's where that,
those are the two lots, the ski touring foundation, so.
yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, I was surprised they could put, I mean, I didn't know the road was back there. I was surprised they could put two houses.
Yeah,
I didn't know how close it was to the river.
well, technically they screwed up along the way,
Well, the lot is back from the river quite a ways.
yeah. And then what's the Dean Davis one?
That's just a forestry notification.
It's a pretty big cut he's doing, isn't it?
Where's the cut?
It's on the east pasture, well, if you go up past Windy Hill.
Is that why the loop's not open?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and before you get up to Hazelton pasture, which is, and my understanding is he was gonna clear that for another pasture, but that's secondhand information that I got. And that they're gonna,
Which one are you calling Hazelton? Is there all-
Hazelton is the first one that has the animals in it.
Correct.
And,
Mhm.
East pasture is almost at the height of land,
Right.
and it's almost totally grown in.
Left-hand side.
And that's where there was a little picnic table. That's actually east pasture up there.
Mhm.
If you were going counterclockwise, you're going right, spur out to the right.
They'll be cutting on the left, I believe, is Davis's property.
Okay.
So if you go past Hazelton,
It's just before you get to Hazelton is where the machinery was, when I went up there.
Was there an old logging road, kind of like right around there,
Well,
that branched off to the left?
yeah. That used to go over to Black Mountain Ski
Yeah.
area, and then that area, after the ice storm, they cut that. And then the upper part of that was Beal's property,
mhm.
which the Forest Service has now bought.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the Dundee project.
Oh, that's neat.
But that is a 100-acre cut, isn't it?
There is no other information on,
I remember when I walked up, because, you know, they got it posted on a tree. I thought it was around 100 acres. I think clear cuts that total, but of course, you know, above Hazelton pasture, 2 or 3 years ago, they cut
Mm-hmm.
a huge clear cut up there,
Oh, yeah, you can see it really well from Doublehead.
which is one of the Davis heirs. Yeah,
I can see it from,
yeah.
Can you see it from here?
I can see it from Tyrol, yeah.
I walked up through that. They
I can
didn't.
see it from the top of Presidential.
Yeah.
It looks like a development.
It's a square,
It's
right?
one hell of a view.
Yeah, it's an impressive spot.
Did you walk up into it?
Yeah.
Mm.
A little tough to walk through it. Actually, it'd be a fun backcountry ski down
Yeah.
through there right now. There's enough snow.
So that's this one.
Then I don't think we answered your question. I think we,
that's okay. I think it'll be found in
The book.
the book. And that's, so I'll review that and see. So I think those were the only, these two were the only active things. The one that Brian is looking through just came in and does not require any action from us according to Julie. So
so the one that Brian was looking at was the wetland?
Yeah,
it's,
It's on Francis.
yeah, which
So
is
it's
off
off
of Maloon.
Where, yeah, it's a little, by a Petit Chateau, like that.
Yeah, if you go up Maloon, take your first right.
Yeah,
But it's further along the road, it's just hard to, they don't give you a good
Is it
path to
60?
go up.
because there's like there's like that one house that has the deck and the little
Pond.
pond, and then there's the little house.
Yeah, that road goes further than you
Like,
think, and
really?
then it drops down and drops down again.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
stopped at Petit. Maybe that-
No, look at how many, just on that alone. Oh. And it's these two.
Oh, and on the other side of the road.
Yeah, this
On
is the
water
river, yeah.
Because that must be like, isn't there like a little, like hunting cabin or something like that?
Yeah, I work on,
So why did they send this to us if
they
we
just
have
don't,
it?
they need to give you the full,
They just-
so you can
I
go
just
like,
said
oh, how far is it from
notification
Maloon Road?
Right, where
It's like,
I think you can raise, if there's an issue, you can raise an issue, and then they have to,
yeah, it slows down the approval process.
Yeah.
It basically gives us, everybody more time to think about it.
but
I
on
don't-
Well, if
the,
it's which one is it? It's,
Spring.
the Spring is, that's the little Le Petit Chateau. That's the corner of Spring and, so then I think Maloon is like right there.
Hmm.
I think this is, I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Spring
yeah,
is like.
Yeah,
like-
considered that guy's.
Yeah, I think this is the house with the little dug pond, and then that's the little house there, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just a
So it's
little
a
bit.
couple
down.
lots beyond the one.
Yeah.
It's quite steep right through there.
Yeah.
so this is on, the one you're looking at is the development up off Malone.
Hmm. Yeah.
Didn't walk through that a couple years ago with one of these two?
Yeah, it's that same house, it never seems like anything ever happens.
Yeah.
I see that, that's there.
Yeah, that's this good. Good. It feels weird to look at it this way with the river there.
I don't know what that river, that's the river.
Yeah, so this would be the road,
Oh, okay,
but
gotcha.
you can't find it exactly, 'cause this way you get the road. So you have to like go up this to get that or something.
Oh, maybe this is the lot.
It's not, oh yeah, it's tighter, it's just a closer view, but again, it's not a great,
Yeah, super sheet. Okay.
I did have somebody ask me why they can't park at Hall Trail off of Green Hill Road. I guess the town used to plow up there or something like that.
the town never plowed, it's all private plowing, they're just not plowing the people that, I used to plow when I lived up there.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah, that was my understanding, is that it was applied for people that would ride snowmobiles or access to their houses above. But,
Yeah.
and so people, skiers would use it,
But there must
even
have
though it
been a
wasn't,
there must have been a parking area up there because
No.
someone's just asking me why they can't park up there anymore.
You could.
I can give you a quick answer right now, because,
UNH parking, UNH
yeah,
parking lot, they're not probably using that either anymore, right?
not that I know of, but, the ski touring center was looking at, and I talked with the Forest Service about getting parking up there. And Sanat objected to it, and we paid heed because people would drive up, get stuck,
Yeah,
and then he couldn't get in and out of his house. And
all the time.
right, yeah, 'cause it's right there where Iron Mountain, yeah, it's like, it's like that turn right there, and it's,
And so,
Where it turns
the
to
Ski
the-
Touring Foundation agreed to not to try to proceed to see about getting a parking lot permitted up there. But the plowing was private,
Yeah,
and we have the Class 6 ordinance about the only people that can plow and get access in the winter on Class 6 is if you actually own property.
yeah,
yeah, that'd be tough, you know, it'd be like,
it's so tricky.
Yeah.
That road, it's really difficult, like, we used to park our cars below there, we knew there was bad weather, not because we couldn't, just because you knew somebody would get stuck on that road and you
Yep.
can't leave,
You
you're
get
stuck there.
Yeah.
You know, so you park down at someone else's house just because you're afraid someone else is gonna go for it, you know, like, you can't get up that in a van, well, okay.
I'm okay with it, because it makes the haul trail a lot quieter.
Yeah.
It's kinda nice.
lovely.
Because
You know,
people,
you gotta-
Well, a lot of people like to go there in the spring because it's skiable in
Oh,
mid-April.
right,
a lot of
right,
times.
yeah.
But you can't ski out there, but you can jump on South Hall.
so Mike, are you skiing from there? Do you live up that way?
No, but I just like to come up from the Whifferdale or from the Keeney, you can come up from, you
The
know,
other side?
you just gotta climb up.
Yeah.
Just, and it kind of just makes it quieter, because not, you know, not as many people want to have to go up.
But the Ski Touring Foundation is not pretending that there's parking up there. If somebody wants to go, be a pain in the ass to those
It's
folks up
because
there.
people
Yeah.
get stuck.
Correct.
So even if you had a parking area, since you can't.
Well, they couldn't even get the kids out sometimes to go to school or get them back from school because somebody was stuck in.
Yeah,
And they always went and knocked on the door and asked for help, and they just tired of it. And that's a reasonable request.
yeah, and it's anybody that's up there, there's 2 other houses
Mhm.
beyond Mark, you know, and then people who live up there on the Class 6 road, it's a nightmare.
Do they plow past up to those houses?
No, no,
So they're basically some.
it stops right after the last house,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
one house after Mark. And we used to plow to the gate, but now the plowing stops right at the last house. And,
And they pay for that plowing.
yeah, that pitch doesn't even get plowed by the town.
Mm.
This is- There's a lot going on there. I have to look at that. It just helps me to look at it this way because that's the Lockyer River. You look at it from Francis Road, from the right away, it's just, seems confusing.
Okay. What is this scale on that?
It's on the right, isn't it, the lower right? And then a scale.
No, the
1 inch equals 20.
Okay, that's pretty close.
So this is a proposal, what, to put a septic or a,
I think this is just covering,
There's a small wetland area that can be disturbed.
yeah, so.
I mean, it's a tough one to look at right now.
this house is, you gotta go in that development a ways before you get to it, correct?
Just a bit, it's not as far as we found it on the map.
Oh, no, it's a different map. Different map for different thing.
It appears that's not that far down, Francis.
I'm almost positive that Spring is that first, like, that
Yeah.
immediate left. There's like one house, like you turn on Francis, there's one
Yeah.
house right on the left that has a little pond, and then there's Spring, and then there's like the little cabin. So I think it's pretty close to,
It's where the Jackson Ski Touring Foundation Trail takes off. There's a spring right after that takes off, but that's not the same.
No, you're on the balloon, so before you get to the
Yeah.
Wildcat Valley Trail,
Right.
take that first right, cross the bridge, just go up the little pitch, take a right, and then there's a left, which is Spring, go a little bit further. There's 2 house lots that have always struggled to either have access or they've had wetland issues or setback issues.
there's a little hunt camp right on the corner, and I can't remember if it's actually on Francis or on Millwood. There's like a little hunting camp right there too.
They almost just make it more confusing about this.
This 1832.
Yeah, it's not 39.
This looks like somebody's taking existing, are they putting in a new house or are they taking an existing house and converting it into year-round?
For that lot on Francis,
Yeah.
I think it's new.
I don't think there's any houses down there, but I don't.
On
Well,
the-
there's an existing travel trailer, which is private,
Yeah, I think it's a new,
because it's proposed, Hitchfield,
yeah,
proposed house, yeah.
that's the word that that's what the non, yes, it's these 2, 39 and 40. Most of it does butt down to, I worked down to this one, 38.
So they're living in the trailer until they build a house.
It's a neat little spot, actually. It's not bad. A lot.
They're mighty close to the river.
Yeah.
About 40, 50 feet.
Yeah, if I remember, there's just like a flat zone, and then it just drops off.
I was gonna say, there's probably not much buildable space right there. It's tight.
And then the property that's by some upriver has the flat area just along the river, then they go straight up to this other property. And the property upriver that you could access from Francis or Maloon.
Well, it drops off over 30 feet here, in a very short distance, yeah. And they should, look at that, that's all wet, that's all wetland all the way down from.
So where are they putting their building?
Right here.
Yeah.
It's a lot that probably shouldn't be built on.
I know.
but it is.
That whole zone, I mean, that's why everyone struggled.
How
Like, you'll
big is
see
it?
that people coming in and out of these lots and don't pull it off.
So how big is the house?
Can't be too big, unless it just goes straight up.
No, it's 50, 60 feet that way by 20,
Yeah, 20
20 by
something.
60, it's not.
It's pretty big.
And then there must be, they gotta pump uphill to get to the
Yeah.
next field.
And they had to buy 2 lots to pull it off too.
Oh, yeah, because they couldn't get the leach
They
field
couldn't
in
get
on the
leach field on
wetland.
property.
Yeah. So what they gotta do is have the driveway come in across the wetland to get to the dry spot to put the house.
So they have to mitigate going
Yeah.
across the wetland.
It's a- I'm not sure how the plans are drawn, it's just,
And these must be test pits. Why would they?
the test pit. Test pit's typically right near the field.
I don't know what these were,
Yeah.
unless they were, a lot of times they do a bunch of test pits.
It's gotta be what it is. I mean, it's where you'd expect to see it. Where the field is.
So that's supposed to be at least 75 feet. From the river, I think.
Yeah, usually they have a setback line that would indicate that that is, there should be something that's
Yeah.
confirming that.
I don't know what the blue line may be that.
I think it's because it's the wetlands plan as opposed to the site plan.
No, that's the contour, because that's 1230, then blue becomes 1250. So every 20,
They do one.
no, but that doesn't make sense either, because,
And look on this one, that one's, I think, that's a close-up of that same drawing, isn't it? Right, you've eliminated.
I think, so
Oh, existing
existing,
conditions proposed, right,
So I think
okay.
this is 41.
those aren't the same scale. There's no scale on this map.
Yeah, it's not a great drawing, it's not a great plan overall.
Because this scale pertains to this, not to this. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't,
Yeah, they may be the same scale. I take it back.
So this is like the line in the middle.
Yeah, they're roughly the same scale. Well, most sites, you spend enough money, you can find a way to,
yep,
And the
the
septic
property
plan.
prices the way they are right now. So this is just to alert us that it's there if we want to comment on it.
yeah. And if we were to say like, wait a second, there are sensitive species or other areas of concern, but it's not much of an opportunity to really inspect, to walk that property.
Well, I think the question that comes up on something like this, and I'd have to check with our planning board rules, but, you know, typically what you'd wanna do is retain the riparian buffer.
I'm sorry, I missed that last
You'd
one.
wanna retain the riparian buffer,
Mhm.
because if they come in and put a grassy slope down here,
Well, what's this right here?
well,
No,
that's just,
looks like a path of some sort.
well, this is what, I think what they're gonna do is probably put a wooden path or steps that come down so that they get down to the river.
Well, look into the other one, see if it's pre-existing, because I think that's how, I worked on lot 37, yeah. Because I worked on, must be lot 38, but we used to come down to them from above. 'Cause there was possibly some,
And they're there right now, because there's a trailer and an existing shed. And what they must have is what, a outhouse
That's deck.
off the
Yeah.
trailer?
I haven't checked that out in a while.
And do they have to get any, like, shoreland permits, shoreland protection permits? or anything? If it's a river, I don't know.
It's kind of an ironic, there are, I'd have to look at the Jackson River ordinance. But I think they're supposed to leave some sort of setback. And unless you're a fourth order or higher, you're not in the states.
Mhm.
And the Wildcat is not in the state river protection system. It is in the National Wild and Scenic.
Mhm.
There's always been a question of, do you want to get the Wildcat put into the state system as well?
Mhm. But wouldn't protect them unless they were fourth order or higher.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
it's a
Shoreline Wetland Protection Act is fourth order or higher.
So
Uh,
what order would this be then? Even if they put it into the,
I would guess this is the Wildcat's probably second or third order at this point.
if they
You know,
start
it takes two
roads?
first orders to become a second order,
Okay.
and then it takes two second orders. A second and a first don't make a
Mhm.
third order.
That'd be interesting to see what like you said, the Jackson ordinance says.
Yeah, I forget. Essentially what they're doing is putting in,
looks like they're putting in the culvert.
yeah, and they use, I mean, if they're putting in crushed stone with geotextile, what they're doing is putting in a permeable wall. What it looks like to me, which is what, I mean, they've gotta do something with the water that wants to move.
Mm.
And so what they're doing is putting,
Well, they're putting the driveway through the wetland
right,
and effectively making the wetland drain.
Through the permanent.
And there's a culvert too, though.
where's the culvert? The culvert is,
There's a square just to your, it's,
in the stone there now.
But it's not what we're normally.
Oh, proposed culvert, right
yeah,
here.
18 by 20. It's like, it's amazing, as much as they put it there, it's not, everything jumps out at you the way that's,
But I thought that was something that we would normally had to weigh in on about the culverts.
Yeah, we would probably get something separate
Or was
if
that only if
when
it
they
was
put a
on,
culvert in that spot.
or was it only if it's on the road? Or that doesn't matter?
I know if it's a driveway, if it's a culvert that's on a driveway too, I'm pretty sure that we've gotten notification of that as well.
Or is that only if they want to expedite it? Mm.
Well, it looks like they're putting another culvert here on the road. Because they wanna control the drainage that's coming down. Okay, so this is after the fact, impact detention is probably because of the trailer that was already there, I would assume. That can't be a house. Whatever it is, must have been grandfathered because there's no setback with the boundary.
Yeah. Well, that whole zone is like that. It's non-conforming.
Yeah. It's probably a grandfathered lot, I would assume, yeah.
But it must be 37 and 30, or 38 and 37, they have issues as well.
They probably would not be permitted as lots. And they're existing, but because they existed,
Yeah.
they're grandfathered. And see, the wall is with infiltration, so they're setting it up because you have broad seepage.
Right, because they're raised.
Instead of trying to force everything into a culvert, which usually can be really problematic, they're building so it's permeable underneath that's what it looks like to me, just a quick pass.
Yeah, and a
Which
pretty
makes
good,
more sense.
pretty good sized retaining wall.
I'm not sure that this much we have to comment on.
We
Without,
can't see anything if we went up there.
yeah,
Unless it's. There's no snow in that. parcel. That shady
That-
Carter Notch parcel.
Mm.
Okay, well, we'll just, I guess, keep an eye on it, I'll
Yeah,
review this.
so Ben, those come in, they go in your mailbox, and then
I will
you bring them
reach-
up at meetings,
Yeah,
I'll reach out to the other,
that's what I've been doing.
which mean, yeah.
the Farrell job. Is that what it's called? Farrell?
Farrell.
Farrell,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll check in on that.
Okay. Kind of jumped over conservation easements, but I think we're all set there for now. I did, the New Hampshire Municipal Conservation Commission just launched a YouTube channel that has all of their seminars and stuff now on that you do not, you can just view them, you don't need to register.
So they're archived?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and they just did that.
I can't remember, do we need a password to get into those, or can anybody just?
I think you could, I think it's their YouTube channel, so you just go to YouTube.
Okay.
You find them on YouTube and
Yeah.
have all of those. So that should make it a little bit easier to view
Yeah.
all of those contents. And they had one coming up about wetlands. I believe it was a couple of days ago, so that might be useful to view, just know what we're dealing with when we encounter this situation. And I think that's it.
Well, the state has a whole wetland permanent ordinance, yeah,
Yeah, and they have
which is part of what we're looking at
this
right here.
worksheet that
Yeah.
you can go through, yeah, it's, I mean, in instances that I've had to call them, they've not been super helpful, but they've been responsive.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. I don't have anything else other than that. I've reached out, or I notified the select board about moving forward on resurfacing the river walk. And I haven't gotten a firm quote, because we haven't got to look at the state of how much rebuilding will be required, but that's not gonna happen until late spring, so. But I just wanted to let them know that was moving forward, so.
And they're bringing, what, like a crushed gravel in?
So kind of on the outside, like completely rebuilding, with a graded stone geotextile, and then, the stone dust, finish, surface.
Is this a local crew that's doing this, or are they,
I can't remember, he's from Maine, it's the person who built the kiosk for us.
the only reasons I ask is if they're in here, and we've talked about, I think, using crushed gravel to get to the porta potty as opposed to wood chips,
Mhm.
and them giving us a quote to do that, because if they're all staged and in town, that could be the time to do it. So I think we talked about accessing the porta potty from the Jackson resident parking spot, because the wood chips were gonna be,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I mean, it'd be a separate quote and so forth, I don't know whether there's any efficiency in that or not.
yeah, well, I can certainly see and get when we get a better idea of how much material we'll be ordering, if adding that much on. I don't know if it's like the storage and staging, if it has to get moved a second time, if it's,
Right,
but I will ask him about
because
it.
we have the pictures and everything of what it looks like, so it'd be pretty easy, even though it's snow covered right now. And it's, I can't remember, but I think we measured out what that distance was when you were getting the,
Mhm. Yeah,
There are a bunch of tree roots sticking out
yeah.
there too, so I'm not sure how that gets affected. If you're gonna do gravel. Don't know.
I can ask him about that as a side thing. But, but he's been good and responsive, so.
Yeah.
So that's it on that front. Does anyone else have anything else?
The only thing I had, which I had emailed earlier, but I said I would bring up again during the meeting, is just the school is looking to redo their playground.
Oh, yeah.
It's very, very old. And they're trying to figure out, they're having a hard time figuring out the classification. They have they've got a layout from 2006 from the engineering company when the Whitney was built. And there's like some spots that are classified as wetlands, but it doesn't designate the classification of wetlands. And there was some question about where that border of those wetlands begins and ends, because the map was a little unclear on it. And so they just reached out and said if we knew anything about, what was the exact thing? The classification of the wetlands, if there was any mitigation occurred when the Whitney was built in regards to wetlands that were there. And the current boundary of the wetland, the classification, and any associated restrictions with that classification. And they have got plans from 2006 that were from a local engineering company, but they've had a really hard time with that local engineering company getting back to them and getting that information.
Didn't the community center just replace the Tricky Barn? Didn't the community center just replace the Tricky Barn?
Did it just go in the exact same footprint?
I think so,
Okay.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Pretty
I
much.
don't know exact, but
But the wetlands, I think, are where the brook comes down along.
Mhm. And I think it spills out into the back.
there's
That
a
back
swale,
swale, right,
yeah,
yeah.
there's those swales.
It's the upper back part of that field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so on the left-hand side,
And so I think,
upper left.
And the building, I think, is actually kind of in that floodplain because
Yeah.
the basement is always an issue.
right. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up, and I did, thank you for the contacts. I did pass that on to the woman, the architect that's working on it. So I just thought I'd bring it up, and if anyone was like, oh yeah, it's in that file cabinet right there, I just was looking at it, then.
That would have been Larry.
Yeah, I didn't even know if we'd even have it. Like that predates when we got the file cabinet.
Yeah, and the correct approach is the company that did the engineering should be.
And the school board would be the one that would those files, not the
Yeah.
town hall.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. So I will let them know that we don't have that. Hopefully, I mean, I would assume that DES would have something on that, so hopefully they get back
Well,
to
I
it.
can't imagine, like, the town hall doesn't have something.
Well, she said she,
How is it that
hold on here.
municipal project?
Well, the engineering, no, but the engineering, the school is a separate political entity than town hall. People always get confused by
But
that.
wouldn't the town,
Do you know what year the filing for the mitigation occurred? I spoke with the town, but will need the general date in order to find the filings.
I mean, that just seems ridiculous between the school and the town, that you
I'm
have
not
to reach out
sure.
and ask somebody.
Go look at the library, see what year. They put the
It
Tricky
just
Barn
seems
into
like
the
something-
Do you know
library.
when the filing for the mitigation occurred? I assume that would have been 2006, because when the plans were.
Well, the historical society just took the Tricky Barn down in a certain year, and then in a certain year, the,
My guess is those files would be with the school board, with the
Okay.
school.
Mm.
I would check with the school administrator and see what they have in their files there,
Okay.
because it is separate from the town, just like the budgets are separate, and you have separate boards.
Gotcha.
And that's no different than Conway or, most other towns.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think, based on the plan that was presented that I saw at the school board meeting, it doesn't look like the new playground addition goes even nowhere near what I can tell on the map is the wetland boundaries, but I don't know, maybe they just have to double check and make sure.
Well, there's two boundaries you have to watch. One is floodplain, and the other is wetlands, and those are two separate entities.
what was the first one?
Floodplain and wetlands. If you're in a floodplain, typically you
Not
can't,
plus.
then you can't normally construct something that would obstruct flow.
Right,
And you're kind of dead in the water right there.
and
If
this,
if it's in a wetland, then you're into this kind of issue that we just took a look at, is how do you mitigate or do whatever you need to.
and that must be the problem, because in the plans that she sent me, the existing wetland area boundaries are defined, but the floodplain is not, so maybe that's.
Right, and those are two separate beasts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people merge them in their head, but they're not.
Wouldn't the floodplain be on a US?
Yeah,
map?
that doesn't,
Yeah, and some of those are being updated for two reasons. One
Right.
is LiDAR now has allowed much better mapping of that. And number two is they're remapping 100-year floodplains because the floods are getting bigger.
bigger, maybe
so-
25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
I've seen the, yeah, USGS has them, I've seen that you can see the overlays and everything.
They use it for, like, if you have to get
Is that the
flood
map?
insurance.
No, this is 2006.
Yeah, but it's also, you get restricted on what you can build or not build, because what you don't want is a structure that ends up impeding floodwater movement.
Right. Okay. All right, thanks. I'll go back to them and see what I can do to be helpful. It's possible that just whoever they've talked to might be new to the school board or new to the town, just
Yeah.
doesn't know. It just, maybe the two right people haven't spoken to each
Yeah, I
other
feel
yet.
like that's kind of what it is, that seems.
Yeah, but they're not building, they're just building.
No, but if you put up slides and
Yeah.
those kinds of things, that's a hard structure.
Yeah, and I don't know, I know it's gonna look a little bit different because one of the goals is for it to be an accessible playground. And so I think that there's gonna be like lower features, and I think maybe that might affect
Is it gonna be
some,
close?
like, it might affect more like ground disturbance kind of thing.
Are they planning on putting it further back behind the building? or closer up?
Based on it was kind of hard to tell because it was like projected kind of small in the Whitney Center, like it was, and so it looked like it looked like they have the existing footprint of the playground, and then it looked like they were gonna push a little bit farther back and kind of have it angled. Because they needed to have, one thing, like the existing thing is like not compliant with anything anymore. And they need to have basically like an accessible section, and then they need to have like, kind of like a K-2, K-3, like a lower elementary section, and then one that's also for older kids. Because there's like different, like apparently with insurance, and there's like different categories, and like, oh, this playground is only for
Little kids.
yeah, little kids, or it's only for kids 8 and over, and if a kid who's 5 gets hurt on it,
They need
then,
it, it's past that.
Sure.
yeah,
So I guess
so,
you didn't have the witches thing, you grab on and every kid just got swung off and hurt. It's like you just realize, don't do that.
yeah. Or just the giant
The old
cubes
days
with
we
no
went up
bars.
Main Rock,
It's like the
yeah.
monkey bars were just like a giant cube of just
Yeah,
bars in
I mean,
every
it's like-
direction, and you're like,
Either you did it, or you could, or you couldn't.
I felt from the top of this, I did about 7 iron bars before I hit the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, well. We'll make everything safe.
Okay.
That's it, thank you, I appreciate your input.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn meeting of February 6th.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Um,
Uh,
Opposed?